Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about right now is how to stockpile food in times of shortages. Having an emergency plan is more important than ever in today's world. Among the ways to accomplish this is by stockpiling food. In other words, you should have food on hand if there is a shortage or a disruption in the food supply. And it's not like we haven't seen this before, and we are going to continue to see these things. So why would you want to stockpile food? Well, there are a number of reasons for this, like natural disasters, pandemics, economic instability. And based on your individual needs and your circumstances, you will be able to determine the best way to stockpile food. However, there are things that you will need to take into consideration, okay? You need to determine your needs. Identifying your specific needs is the first step. How much food should you stockpile? Several factors will determine this, including how many people are in your house, your dietary requirements, how long do you expect to be self-sufficient? And after you've determined your needs, you can begin stockpiling your food. All Americans should keep, and this is according to the three-letter agencies, okay? They say 3 days. No. I say 1 month just to start. And that's food, water, okay? And they say 1 gallon per person per day. I say 4, but that's just me. Choose the right food, okay? Only bring in what you eat, not having the mindset of, well, we'll eat this if times get really bad. You don't ever want to have that mindset, because if you start stockpiling up on Spam, okay, or some kind of canned fish or canned this or canned that, and you're like, I really don't like it, but in times of this desperation, I guess we'll have to eat whatever we can get our hands on. You don't ever want to have that mindset, and I mean not now, not ever, okay? It's so important to understand that not all food is created equal. There are some foods that are better suited for stockpiling than others, okay? You have to take into consider shelf life, nutritional value, personal preferences, okay? You should eat nutritious food. That will help you maintain your health if the emergency is caused by whatever, okay? Moreover, since you'll only have a limited supply of food in your emergency preparedness kit, you should choose higher quality foods and consume fewer of them. In a disaster or an emergency, you want those calories, okay? You want nutrients, you want fiber, something to keep a normal diet, okay? Plus, you don't want food fatigue, okay? In an emergency, generally, you tend to think of meeting more basic needs and preferences and flavors. But if you plan right, you can have a great variety of foods and nutrients. Now, store your food properly. After choosing the right food, make sure it is stored properly. By doing so, you will be extending the life of your food, the shelf life, and you prevent it from spoiling. In general, food should be stored in a cool, dry place, even though there are a number of different ways to do so. Between 40 to 70 degrees is the ideal temperature, but who keeps their house at 70 degrees with the air conditioner on? I don't. I keep mine at 72. When storing food, it is recommended that you avoid storing foods near ranges, refrigerators, exhausts. Foods that are exposed to heat spoil more quickly. Make sure food is stored away from petroleum products like gas, oil, paints, and solvents. It's possible some foods, products absorb their smell, which is very true. Ensure that your food is protected from rodents and insects. This is why I like airtight containers. Box and paper cartons that is heavily wrapped or stored in waterproof airtight containers will keep the items longer. Various methods like canning, drying, and freezing can also be used to preserve food. I pressure can a lot of food. I also water bath can a lot of food. I also dehydrate food, okay? Depending on how long you plan to store the food and what type of food you are storing, you will need to store it differently. Now, rotate your stock. This is extremely important. Regular rotation of your food is essential. You can keep your food fresh and ensure that nothing goes to waste by doing this. It is recommended that you rotate your canned food stockpile every 2 to 4 years, okay? And your dried food stockpile every 2 to 3 years. So it's not like it's a heavy burden to do this. First in, first out, is an effective way of rotating your food. So it's not, overbearing. It's really not. So rotating your food also involves, in order to maintain the best quality, canned goods should be used within a year of purchase, or so they say. You know, go by your gut feeling, okay? Uh, Prepare to use your stock, okay? Having food on hand when you need it is the entire point of stockpiling food. Therefore, it is crucial to prepare for use of your stock. Having an emergency plan for how you will use your food is one way to do this. If you have stockpiled food, you may want to have a list of recipes that you can use. You can also prepare yourself to use your stock by practicing cooking with the foods that you have stocked up. As a result, you will become familiar with the food and how you use it. Also, make sure you have the right equipment to prepare and cook the food. For example, to open your canned goods, you're going to need a can opener, manual can opener, because shtf, you might not have electricity, all right? So start small, okay? Don't stockpile too much food overnight. Each week, add a little bit more, $5, $10 more, okay? For example, purchasing a flat of canned beans while they're on sale or you have coupons. As time passes, your stockpile will increase, okay? It really will. Buying in bulk, you can save money by buying in bulk. I always talk about buying in bulk, okay? It's a very good way of doing this, okay? Be sure, however, to only buy foods that you will have space for, store it, and consume it before it expires, unless you preserve it, of course. Use a food storage calendar. A food storage calendar, you can keep track of your stockpile and rotate it out regularly. Label your food stockpile with a date that you purchased it, okay? And for the love of God, don't tell anybody what you're doing, okay? Not even your closest friend, I don't care, okay? So stockpiling food can help you prepare for natural disasters, economic collapses, food shortages, and you can do this efficiently and affordably. You really can. So if you are new to preparing, and I'm sure you have a boatload of questions, and that's okay. I want you to ask away. But there are some general questions that I get asked all the time. Like, what should I stockpile? Well, stockpiling food should include non-perishable, nutrient-rich foods. Ideally, this means foods that are high in nutrients that last a long time, like canned goods, fruits, veg, meats, fish. Okay, they're all really great options. But like I said, only buy what you know you will eat, okay? Dried goods like nuts, seeds, dried fruits, veg, grains like rice, quinoa, couscous, that's, oatmeal, okay? Beans and lentils are always something that you should stockpile. Hardtack. It's kind of like cross between a saltine and a Triscuit. It's made from flour, water, and salt. It'll crack the fuck out of your teeth if you try and bite into it. You have to literally water the shit like Oreo and milk. I mean, you literally have to, but it lasts literally a lifetime. Water, like I said, I suggest 4 gallons per person per day. Okay, but you do you. Okay, so how much should you stockpile? Well, this all depends on you and your household. Okay, during an emergency, FEMA recommends 3 days. If you live in a disaster prone area like I do, because we get hit with hurricanes, okay, or you have special dietary requirements, you may want to stockpile more food. I recommend at least 30 days and then build from there. But please keep in mind that preparing can become time consuming, overwhelming, and at times expensive. But if done correctly, you can sail through preparing smoothly. You really, truly can. But if you have the ability and you're just starting out, stockpiling enough food for at least 7 days or more. And as a result, you will have more flexibility if an emergency lasts for a long time. So, how do you store food for stockpiling? Well, make sure your stockpile, like I said, cool, dry place. Okay. Don't store it in an area that's going to get flooded out. Do not ever put anything in the hot garage or in the attic. For the love of God, please don't. Okay. Don't put it in direct sunlight or near a heat source. Okay. Because the shelf life will be shortened. Okay. So what is the best way to rotate and stockpile? First in, first out. First in, first out. Okay. To accomplish this, eat the oldest first and then replace it. Oldest first, then replace it. Okay. It's the easiest way to do it. All right. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.